Hi, this is Steph, and I'm
And
here
the
with the
G-Man.
G-Man. This is the BS show number
Number
8.
8.
And Alan, I can't believe this is number 8, and you and I were not late. We're a little early tonight, 8 o'clock, but thank you for tonight for showing up a little early. And so we got a lot to talk about. So, Alan, how was your week? What's going on, brother?
The week was good. I got some funny stories, things that happened this week. And we're going to do some more idioms for idiots as we did a couple of weeks ago. I believe it was show number 3, I believe, or something like that.
All right,
What was,
let's start out with that then. Let's start out with
okay.
that tonight.
And all of a sudden, for some reason, Google has picked up on our show number 3. And all over the place, when you go on Google, if you have AOL, it says idioms all over the world and different sayings that people need to know. So I wrote a few of them down.
All
So,
right, so
and Steph,
we're gonna reverse roles. You're
we're
gonna
going to
tell me the
reverse
idiom,
roles.
and I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay. Now, here's one that everybody says all the time. Caught between a rock and a hard place.
Rock in a hard place. So what does that actually mean? I mean, are you like stuck in between a wall?
I assume so. A rock and a hard place. That's not a good place to be, I don't think. You
It
know,
sounds like it could be near a cemetery too.
that could be. All right. Another one is cut to the chase.
So are we going to the racetrack, or what are we doing? Indianapolis 500? What does that mean?
I don't know. Who's somebody chasing you and you're just going to cut it off somewhere? Cut to the chase? I don't know. What's this one? Good show. What is good show? What is good show? Good show. What the hell is that supposed to mean? I don't know.
I think it
Tell me.
sounds like a British saying, "Good show," but good show. What type of show? I mean, because anything could be a good show. So you need to
Right.
tell me more on that one. I would think.
How about the cat's got your tongue?
Cat's got your tongue. There'll be no oral sex on that one.
I never saw a cat get anybody's tongue. Stick my tongue out so the cat can grab it. The hell? What kind of stupid, what kind of idiot are you? Here's another one. All ears.
Right. What does that mean? Is that Mickey Mouse, like the Mouseketeers, all ears?
Or maybe it's ears of corn. I don't know.
Yeah.
What the hell? And did you ever see anybody that's all ears? No eyes, no nose, no
Well,
mouth,
no, no.
just ears.
I saw one guy all ears. He was elected president, Barack Obama.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. As poor as a church mouse.
As poor as a church mouse.
Yeah.
Sounds like most of America, with less than $500 in their bank account.
Since when do mouses have money?
They got
And when
cheese.
and where'd you ever see a mouse in a church? Because then you wouldn't have a service because people would be running out.
But they always say church mouse. So I mean, what's the deal with that? Is the
I don't
mouse
know.
holy,
Yeah.
religious, or just that's where they keep the wafers and the matzah?
Maybe he's eating a hole in the wall, maybe in the church.
Could
How
be.
about rub salt in a wound? I think that would kind of hurt, I think, maybe.
That would be painful. Yeah,
I
salt in
think
the
so.
wound.
Right. I
Yeah.
don't get it,
It's
man.
like,
So
what's next after that? Give me a saline
are you
solution,
ready
and
for this? Yeah.
yeah.
Here's one for you. Ants in your pants.
I
Why would
always
you
heard.
put ants in somebody's pants?
Yeah. Well, and then all of a sudden you hit the next one. You feel the need to dance.
Wow. Ants in your
Yeah.
pants and you need to dance. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one for you. I'm wearing my birthday suit.
Okay, that's interesting. Your birthday suit, which
Right.
means either you have a
Right.
new suit from the tailor, or you're
Right.
in the nude. You're in the buff.
Right. You're in the buff, right? Probably. Okay. How about this one? You hear this all the time, a New York minute. Why? A minute in St. Louis or Chicago is different than a New York minute. It's the same minute to me.
Yeah, but the New York minute, you're in fear, and they put the bug in your ears, so like you're running that whole time.
Well, that could be a New York minute. That's interesting, right? So then after that, that's about all for the idioms for idiots. But I do have to tell you about a story that happened this week to me. This is a very funny story. I went to a quick check and I bought a candy bar, which was like $1.70 or something like that. Candy's gone up all of a sudden. Three Musketeer bar that's like 4.2 ounces now has become $1.70. And so I went to the quick lane. So I went to put $2. I had a $2 bill, which the machine rejected. I kept putting it in, it kept rejecting it. So I figured that the machine must not be calibrated for a $2 bill. So I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, listen, can you give me 2 singles because the machine won't take a $2 bill? And the guy says to me, I can't take that. I go, what do you mean you can't take it? I got it from the bank. He says, I never saw a $2 bill in my life. I go, what's a $2 bill? It's good. So this other guy says, yeah, the bill is good. Why won't you take it? So he says, well, why do you want me to give you 2 singles? I said, well, the machine will take two $1 bills, but it won't take the $2 bill. And he said, I have to go back and ask my manager if I could take a $2 bill. Well, he went around the counter and he went back to the deli and he went in the back. The guy was on a break or something. And he comes back and he says, well, it's only my first day. I don't know nothing about a $2 bill. And I had to stand there and laugh because I know it's not the most common thing, but $2 bill's been around for a while now. Okay, whether it was your first day or your last day, you should know what a $2 bill is. But he didn't want me to pay for this candy bar, apparently. So it was kind of funny, man. I had to tell that story.
So you finally got the candy bar, right?
Yeah, he finally gave me 2 single dollar bills for my $2 bill. It was like a 15 or 20-minute deal, He looked at me like I was nuts with a $2 bill. He thought I had phony money or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna print. Of all the money I'm gonna print, it's gonna be a $2 bill. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna fake a $2 bill. Yeah, something that you don't see too often. I'm gonna fake that. Yeah, okay.
No. Matter of fact, what president introduced that? Was it Kennedy who introduced the $2 bill, or was it before that?
It might have been Reagan. Maybe it was Reagan. I don't know. They were around for a while now. I don't even remember when they really came into circulation.
Yeah,
I probably have to look that up.
Yeah, because most people were afraid to take it from you, though.
Yeah, and a lot of people hoarded them because they figured, it's something you're not going to get all the time. But here, I got this from the bank,
That's
So
amazing, yeah.
And now I'm going to tell you a very, very, very funny Lyft story. Very funny Lyft story. I was driving for Lyft, as some people know if they've been listening to the show. And there was a time where I picked up a lady somewhere in Edison, New Jersey, going to the other side of Edison, actually, which is a good 15, where she was going was about 15, 20-minute ride. And I pick her up at the train station, Metro Park in Island. And it's on the border, Island and Edison, right there. That's where Island and Edison kind of meet. And she says to me, you got to get me home. It's 9:45. She said, you got to get me home by 10 o'clock. And I said, be honest with you, I know where you live, and I don't think I can make it in 15 minutes. And as we're driving, I'm asking her, why do you have to be home in 15 minutes? Because it's almost impossible to get from where I was to where she was going. And she goes, because my ankle bracelet's going to go off at 10 o'clock. So I'm thinking to myself, what idiot would take a chance of getting home late and having her ankle bracelet go off? And so I must have got her close enough, because I didn't get her there at 10 o'clock. I got her like maybe three minutes after. But we must have been close enough where her ankle bracelet didn't go off in my car, at least. I mean, you can't make this crap up. You really can't.
Now, you're big into baseball, right? You're
Yes.
a Yankee fan, right? Tell me
Yes, I
about
am.
the Yankees. What's going on? I don't follow. As you
The
see, I'm
Yankees
wearing a soccer shirt. So tell me about the Yankees.
The Yankees are not playing well. They're playing very sloppy ball. Their starting pitching, except for Garrett Cole, their ace, hasn't gone past the 7th inning. They're wearing out their bullpen. Yesterday, it was 4-4 in the bottom of the 9th, and Chad Green, who's pitched quite often already, he gave up a home run. I mean, the guy's been pitching almost every day. I mean, you can't help it. The bullpen has been, carrying them. They got like a 1.27 ERA, and eventually you're going to give up some hits and runs, because you can't throw these guys out there every day, and they're not really hitting much. Judge had 2 homers yesterday, but they're really not hitting a lot. DJ LeMahieu's not doing great. Stanton's not doing good. Judge just started hitting. Hicks is doing terrible. Of course, he got upset about the Minnesota thing the other day, and he couldn't play because he's got ties in Minnesota. So, it wasn't one of his family, but he was upset he couldn't play. Sanchez had a couple of games where he did decent. Gleyber Torres is throwing some terrible throwing errors and letting balls go through the infield on him. Gio Urshela's doing well. Frazier not really hitting much. So you got, 6 guys that really aren't doing a whole lot hitting wise, and you're trying to get your pitchers to pitch, and they're not going past the 4th or 5th inning, and your bullpen's doing all the work. And eventually you're going to wear the bullpen out.
Now,
Uh,
you're big into the Yankees. Who are the announcers for the Yankees? Who do you like, and who like annoys you? These Yankee announcers. Is
uh,
there any?
well, Michael Kay, he annoys me. He annoys me. He thinks he's on his talk show that he does on ESPN every day, and there's a few things that he does that just annoy the hell out of me. And one is when somebody hits a fly ball, he says it's a sky high pop up. Well, no, it can't be a dirt high pop up, you dumb jerk. Okay. And then when somebody dives for the ball, he says a full body dive. Well, you can't half body dive, you moron. The guy dives for the ball, he dives for the ball. And then if you ever watch his show on ESPN, which I do once in a while, I don't do it too much. First of all, it's called the Michael Kay Show, but it's Michael Kay, it's Don LaGreca, and it's Peter Rosenberg. So it's the three of them. It's not really Michael Kay Show. He may be the lead man, and Michael Kay has a problem where he takes his glasses off, he puts his glasses on, he's looking at his phone, he's texting somebody, he takes his glasses off, 5 minutes later, he puts his glasses on, and he texts somebody else with his phone like this. And there's, as he's talking and listening to what Peter and Don LaGreca are doing, he's doing this with his on the phone. And then he takes his glasses off, and a couple of minutes later, he puts his glasses on. And then about 3 seconds later, he puts his glasses down. Then he puts his glasses back on, and he's playing with his phone the whole time.
Now,
what are you doing?
Like in a 99-cent store, you can get that little link that goes around your glasses and keep it around.
Well, maybe
your
he's too cheap to do that. I don't know.
It's only 99 cents. I mean, I used to, the funny thing, I had like 3 of them, and all of a sudden now I can't find all 3 of them. So I don't rely on glasses too much because I am now, my eyes are pretty good. I've been eating goji berries. If anybody listening out there, if you want to have a better vision, take goji berries and stop jerking off because that'll make you go blind.
But some people want to go blind. It's better than getting cataracts.
See, if you jerk yourself off, then you don't go home alone. You pat yourself on the back and you buy yourself a rose,
or a box of cherries, whatever.
Box
and no fake orgasms, no complaints.
Yeah.
Never have a complaint that you didn't come in time.
No, you wouldn't.
Sorry, you didn't come fast enough or long enough. You didn't last long enough.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of porn you watch. Anyway.
It's like that song, Don't Know Why I Didn't Come. I was like, okay, I think Nora Jones, I don't know if you've heard that song,
Yeah.
So it's interesting, though. I mean, everything now is sex anyway. Sex.
Yep.
Sex sells. We don't have any women. We don't have any gorgeous women running around with tutus on or showing their bottoms, but we got Allan and Stef here tonight, giving you a lot of things tonight. We're going to go into some more comedy now, but before we do, Allan, what kind of challenges have we had the last 7 weeks?
Well, we've had people try to hack us where they blocked me out, and then they put a little screen over me where I couldn't see you. They've hacked into your phone. We put some stuff on Zaza. They hacked into that. We can't see that. They've taken down the comments for our show after you put them up on YouTube. They hit a couple of our shows where we can't see some of our shows unless we download it right away. And we're still here, man. We're doing number 8, and we're shooting for number 200. And they're not stopping us no matter what they do.
Well, it's funny. Someone had asked me, why do you have 15 computers? Because somebody saw like what I have. And I said, because I use them. Now, for our first show, right? At the end of the show, I didn't say anything to you. Right. During the course, before the show, I see the StreamYard. I'm going to throw StreamYard out. They said, to get a better experience, you should use the Chrome browser, to access the video and the streaming. So I'm not a Windows guy or a Chrome guy, but for the hell of it, I said, let me install that on my Linux computer. Now, I don't use that. If anybody knows about Linux, we have different browsers, and only 8 viruses have come through Linux in like 20 years. The only way you can get one is if you introduce it into the system yourself. So when our show was over, I see an update for the Google Chrome browser, which I just installed only for the show. So harmlessly, I'm thinking like, okay, why not? Right after that, the whole computer went crazy, like blew up on me, like the guy in the Silver String submarine. Shit, I just lost the computer. So I didn't say anything to you for 7 weeks. This is the 8th week. And I finally told you about it because I didn't want you to, to think like get spooked off because I know we had something going. And I got 15 computers, like I say, so who gives a shit? So that computer is working. I refixed it. I have a restoration disk, and I do what I do. I'm a technical guy. As you know, I manage retail stores. I've been around cameras, equipment for over 20, 30, 40 years. So there isn't much that, challenges me in that. I just get annoyed when people try to stop me from being funny or putting something out there or my own
Right.
YouTube. So today I had to change 6 different passwords, and one of them being this link that we're on
Right.
and YouTube
Right.
as well.
Right.
I get a link for YouTube telling me, oh, somebody just accessed your password. Okay, well, quickly I got to change it like I changed my socks. So all day I've been changing passwords only because we must have something that people are really, really afraid that we're
Right.
going to get out there. And so anybody listening, keep it locked here. You're going to get comedy, you're going to get truth, and you'll figure it out. You want to go down the rabbit hole, you can. You want to laugh your butt off, you're going to laugh as well. But I wanted to share that with Allan about what we've gone through, because here we are at number 8, and we're still going strong here. And
Still
you've had
persevering.
challenges with this. So
We're
what would you
persevering no matter
say? What would you say about that? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
That's right. And there's one thing I wanted to talk about was that when you go on a website, let's say an email, say you get an email from some stupid, you start getting emails from all over the place, man, and some of them are just dumb. But you get them and you unsubscribe to them, and then they want to know why you want to unsubscribe. I don't need to tell you why I unsubscribe. I don't want an email from you. And then it says, some of them, it says it takes 72 hours or to 10 days to be unsubscribed, but it takes like 30 seconds for you to send me an email, though. Why is it? And they put it in small little tiny print, unsubscribe. I don't even know where your email came from, because a lot of these things that you sign up for now, contests or anything, they're selling your email to somebody which you don't even know about, and they got small little print that says, we're allowed to send this to a third party. Then you get an email from some stupid thing that you have no idea what it is, and you unsubscribe from it. But it takes 20. I got an email today from a company, and I sent them back an email saying, listen, this is the 7th time I've unsubscribed. What is your problem? I mean, they just keep sending me emails, and it says you've unsubscribed. You'll get no more emails, no more anything from this company, and I keep getting them. So what's good is unsubscribing? I don't get it. That's the point of unsubscribing, is that I don't want your emails anymore, and I'm not telling you why. I don't want them. Just crazy shit that's going on now. And we, of course, put up with it. Was I watching a Johnny Carson YouTube video, and all of a sudden some stupid ad came on? Like, why? Why do I have to watch an ad when I want to watch a YouTube video? I don't get it. What is one thing? I mean, I know they're trying to make money. I understand that, but I don't want to see the freaking ad. And as soon as it says skip ad, I skip it, man. That's it. Skip it. I pay no attention to the ad.
How many ads did you skip today? Quite a bit, I bet.
Quite a few. If I watch anything on YouTube, I got to skip ads. Or a concert, I want to hear a song from Roy Orbison or George Harrison or Clapton or anybody. Please, I don't need to see a freaking ad for Progressive or Liberty Mutual or Geico. Please, I don't need to see that freaking ads.
Now, you mentioned the big players. How much money are they spending on advertising? Because that's got to come out of the customer's pocket.
Right.
So how much profit margin do they really must have on their things? Quite a bit.
Listen, Liberty Mutual is getting just as bad as Geico and Progressive now. I mean, they're just getting stupider and stupider and stupider and stupider. And what I do is, when I hear any of the three, I turn the sound off on my TV or on my radio, because I don't want to hear it. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. I don't care.
It's funny, but today I have on these pants with side pockets on them, and I had the remote in my pocket. Every couple of seconds, I had to turn off that commercial that interrupted whatever I was trying to watch.
Right.
So it's interesting that almost like I had a holster, stop that from playing that commercial. I don't want to hear it either. But I'm not paying for the advanced YouTube because with
Right.
YouTube hacking me yesterday and today, do I really want to do that? I don't think so.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Well,
it is a
Geico used to have the commercial that said even a caveman could do it. I don't think
right.
Geico was around when cavemen were around.
Maybe Joe Biden was.
Well, Joe Biden's older than dirt. Well, we don't know how old dirt is though, you know. And Joe
Uh,
Biden doesn't even know what a caveman was probably. He doesn't even know he couldn't find a cave probably. He definitely
no,
didn't
no,
invent the wheel, that's for sure.
no. He found the cave. That was the one that
He was hiding in.
Osama bin Laden was hiding in, and then he
That's the one
said,
that
"Hey,
he was hiding. That it was the one he was hiding in during the election. We hadn't seen him
yeah."
for 14 days or whatever.
Oh, by the way, he was on TV today, and he
Yeah.
must have did 3 minutes. So I had him under the hot lights, right? And I'm looking at the guy. I'm
You
going,
start to melt.
as he started to melt, he's done. I go, wait a minute, give him 10 more minutes. I want to see that mask fry like an egg.
Right. Scrambled eggs, fried egg on a roll.
So last couple of weeks I found something, right? And I
Yeah.
was thinking, I'm going to save this just in case I want to roll with it. And you were talking about Biden, and I said, let me put this out there. Being, it's this comedy. We're just BSing. So
Yep.
I'm setting this up.
April Fool's
But here
month.
is April Fool's month. Thank you for reminding me. So here's what people are proposing, rumored to saying is true. Not that I'm saying it, Booby. I'm just saying if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck,
It's a duck.
Be a duck. There you go. So
Right.
let's check this all out together, and you analyze this.
Okay.
Trying to roll it now. Hold on. I don't think they want me to show it. Well, I wanted to show you that because there are people saying that the new Joe Biden is wearing a mask from Hollywood Masks that shows his
No.
eyes are not the same color as the old Joe Biden.
These are different.
And this guy now has a cleft chin, and the old
Right.
Joe Biden didn't have a cleft chin. And if you look
Right.
around the
Right.
temples, like I have some lines here I can see tonight, but for example, he's got them here around here with like it's adhesive tape around his
Elephant
face.
glue.
So
I think it's
exactly.
elephant glue.
So you're going to notice, and I'm putting this out there because I'm putting all my enchiladas that I might
you're not
be
even
right
Mexican.
on this one.
And you're not even
That's
Mexican.
right.
You
And
might
I'm
have
not
crossed
as
the border.
funny.
You might have crossed the border in the last couple of weeks, but
I may have to cross the border after tonight.
going the other way. Well, there's no
You know-
traffic going the other way. It's all coming this way.
Oh, I've already been kicked out of Canada, so amazing.
It's like a
Canada,
personal problem.
I was going to Canada, and I kept going. Like all summer, I'd go. And here's where I was going. I used to go to watch the Mets play at Montreal Stadium.
I did too, Jerry Park.
Yeah, right.
went
So
to
I
Jerry
would go,
Yeah.
and so I did what you did. Like I could be behind home plate for like $12. So it was a
Right.
great weekend. So finally, the customs guy says, "Why are you always coming here to Canada?" I says, "I'm a Met fan. I want to watch baseball. I'm a National League fan. You know, can you pull your car over there? We want to talk to you."
Well,
I just want to go watch a ball game.
let me tell you what
That's,
happened. Me
yeah.
and my best friend when I was about 20 years old, and he was like 19 or he was 18, I believe. We decided to go to Montreal for a vacation, for a week vacation. And on the way up, one of his cousins, who I know very well, was getting married at Ramapo College in New Jersey, and we had never seen a VCR before. It had just come out. And anyway, the wedding, they did the VCR and they showed it anyway. And we have a friend who is very heavy, and at the time he was on a special diet with cyclamate sweeteners, which was illegal in the United States. And he said, he gave us money. He said, do me a favor. When you go to Montreal, would you buy some Montreal from cyclamate sweeteners for me? So here we are, a 21-year-old kid and an 18-and-a-half-year-old kid driving back with an illegal substance. And we were worried about getting stopped at the border because we had this illegal substance in our car. You know, we thought they were going to stop our car and arrest us for possible, but we brought it back. We were scared shit though, man. Let me tell you, coming back. But the funny part of it, we're talking about in like 1972, 71, whatever. And we were young and we weren't angels. So there was one night where we had nothing to do. And my brother-in-law was in the Air Force and I had an Air Force jacket on. And we had been smoking a little weed. And we decided we were going to panhandle. He was going to go on one side of the street and I was going to do on the other street. And within an hour, we had $100. We were offered jobs. We were offered cigarettes. Some guy was willing to take us back to the States. We just had a blast panhandling. We can't believe it. And we tell his children this now. They're like, "You did what? You did what? You panhandled on the street in Montreal?" We just were having fun. We had nothing to do. We didn't know the city that well. It was one night we were smoked. We had maybe had pizza for dinner or something. And so we said, let's try. What the hell? And so for about an hour, we panhandled, and somebody was asking me how I got up here. I said, I was in the Vietnam War and I came up here. I was in, the service and I came out and, I don't have a job. And, when you come back to the States, the guys are giving me business cards. Call me, I'll get you a job. And they're giving us money. And, it was just something that you don't do normally, and we just did it, we just had a blast, man. We're just talking about me and him. I was with him last week. We're just talking about it, the two of us, what a good time we had, it was kind of funny, man, going to Montreal.
Yeah, I liked Montreal going
very
there.
Clean city, very clean city, very clean city.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
the subway system is unbelievable compared to New York.
I love the subway system too. There.
Yeah, I mean, and murals on the walls and the rubber wheels and just a clean operation. I mean, and the underground shopping is beautiful too.
Yeah, because all the snow in the wintertime. And
right.
One of the things you notice there, like the meters, the parking meters, are up against the side of the building, not near the curb because of all the snow for the snow clearing. So none of the meters are close to the curb, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So if you're drunk, you don't hit a parking meter, you hit the curb instead, I guess.
You can't pee on it either because it's against the building, unless you're a dog or a cat.
Well, another thing too, what I remember there, they had bathrooms. It's not like here in New York. You got to find, a bathroom. Right. This is the biggest city in the world, and I find fault with that. 7 bathrooms in Manhattan, like public toilets. I mean, come on, 7 porta potties in probably the whole island of Manhattan.
Well, no, you got more than that. You got more than that in Penn Station, probably. But they're always busy, and the bums are in there anyway. It doesn't matter, They got the police and the National Guard sitting outside of the thing. In the meantime, there's about 6 bums sitting in the fucking toilets, in the bathrooms there,
Well, one of the things I heard tonight on the news are people complaining about that you have police, like 4 or 5 of them, hanging out together, talking and just like not even doing their job. Like I got on the bus yesterday to go somewhere, and there was like 8 of them, and they got the street blocked off, and none of them are wearing masks, and they're all looking at each other. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like really, you got the street blocked. I mean, that's so egotistical. And then if that's the law, you're supposed to wear a mask too. Put it on. And if you're
Yeah, well,
making me wear
you,
one,
you know, the Madison Square Garden and Grand Central Station, there's bums everywhere, and they don't even bother with them because these guys are spitting on them now and stuff like that again. You know, unless they're making a scene, they're leaving them alone. I mean, they're all over Madison Square Garden, all over Grand Central, and they don't even want to go near them. These guys, unless they're making a scene, they're not going near them. You know,
and then if you give
crazy,
those individuals money, they say to you, "Why are you giving that bum money?
right?
Why? He's hungry. Oh, he's going to buy crack with it." I was told one time. I said, "A
Yeah.
dollar?" I said, "Where's he going to get, crack for a dollar?" You know. I said, "It's
I
my
was thinking of
money."
his crack.
I said, "It's my money." I said, "If I want to give the guy money to get something to eat, that's my business." Oh, come over here. He wanted me to step inside the stanchion by the Amtrak by 34th Street to come across over because he was an Amtrak track policeman. I said, "No, no, you come out here." So he realized I wasn't going to play his game. He goes, "What's your name?" I said, "Am I under arrest? Am I being detained?" No, no. I said, "Well, you don't need to know." I said, "We're on a need to know basis, and you don't need to know." I said, "By the
There is an
way, I got."
article today in the New York Post about a lady who came in to JFK Airport from Honduras. They found 3 pounds of cocaine in little tablets in her bra, in her panties, and everywhere else possible. That's some shitty cocaine, if you ask me. She
Well,
tried to smuggle it in. She tried to smuggle it in every part of her body possible. What is
well,
wrong with these people?
drugs will make you do some crazy things, I guess. I mean, we've had a lot of people in the White House that would smoke drugs and crazy, and you got Obama, and then you got Bill Clinton, and you got all these other people that are drug addicts, but they're functioning drug addicts, and what you don't know, you don't know. But
Right.
drugs is a big problem here in this country, and it has been since the '60s. You were in the
Right.
Vietnam War, right? Were you
I
in
wasn't. No,
Vietnam?
no, I was
You
not.
wasn't.
No, no.
Okay.
I missed. I was. My number was 308. My mother said she was going to
Well,
send me to Canada, but I don't know if
you
I
know
would have went.
what? My number was like about 253,
Yeah.
and my mother had already placed a call to my aunt in Montreal. No, she wasn't in Montreal. She was in Scarborough near Toronto. So my mother already had me packed to go up to Canada as well. And the morning of the drawing, and you were in the same draft, I guess, the lottery that I was the last
Yep.
2 years, because the
Yep.
kids in Kent State were protesting, and
Right.
they ended up getting killed by the National Guards. As a result of that, the people
Right.
stepped up and they changed it from no more draft, just the
Right.
lottery. So you and
Right.
I lucked out. And the night before that lottery drawing, a friend of mine, Eddie, right? I'm with this guy, and he says, "Let's go shoot a game of pool." We did, and he knew the next morning that the number was going to be called. The newspapers is where you'd read it.
Right.
So that night we shot a game of pool. We got high as a kite. I remember I never drank Boone's Farm wine, but that night I was lit
That
up
was some
on.
great wine. That was some real expensive wine. Let me tell you.
Well, it was either that or Ripple. We didn't have that much
Yeah, they both
money.
of them were the high end wines at the time. Yeah.
So we got roarishly ripped, right? The next morning, my mother says, "Go get the newspaper." I do. And I see my number is 253, and I'm jumping for joy. 12 years later, I call a cab. I'm in Brooklyn at the time. No, I was in Queens, living in Queens, in Woodhaven at the time. Call a cab. Who shows up? My friend Eddie in the cab. And I don't realize it's him. I get in the back, and he hears my voice. He says, "Stef," he goes, "haven't seen you in a dozen years. Whatever happened? The last time I saw you," and he told the story about, drinking the Boone's Farm the night before the lottery. I said, "Well," I said, "my number is 253." I said, "And I didn't have to go." He says, "Well, my number was about 40 and I got drafted." He says, "But I got to thank you tonight." I says, "What are you thanking me for going to Vietnam?"
He was
He
so
says, "Well,
drunk.
I didn't." No, he says, "I didn't go to Vietnam." He goes, "Because we were in high school. You used to hold me back and keep me in typing class. And you used to tell me, let the other guys go to the pool room, hang out, learn how to type. It may come in handy later on." He said, "Because I listened to you and I got the clerical, they said, 'What skills do you have?' He says, 'I can type.' They sent me to Germany."
Mm-hmm. Listen,
So,
my dad worked for the government before World War II. He got drafted into the army. He was an accountant for the government. He had over 25 people. When he gets drafted, where do you think they put him? In the motor pool. He was in Patton's motor pool. They never went overseas, But here's a guy who knows accounting, and you put him in the motor pool. He knew nothing about cars till the day he died at 8 years old. I mean, he knew basic stuff, but he didn't know a whole lot about cars. So what he used to do is he'd take the test for everybody, and they would do the mechanics for him. Like, why would you could have put him in a supply department, you could have put him in some kind of accounting, office job. They put him in the motor pool, which he knew nothing about cars. Does that make any sense? He worked for the government. You had his record, obviously, somewhere, just unbelievable.
Well, there's a story that I want you to bring up here now, because I want to show some stuff, and you'll set it up. I'm going to be showing some clips today. I'm going to show Carlo Gambino and some of the others, but before I do, I want you to tell me the Mafia Wives story. Can you do that? Well,
the show The Mafia Wives that was on a couple of years ago, all the guys that are in jail now, I met when they were teenagers, and they thought they were hot shit then, because their fathers were big shots in the mob at the time. And one guy I met, he was Sammy the Bull's brother-in-law. And he would be around for a while. And then he was the same age as me at the time. And I was like 26, 27, 28 at the time. They never knew where he was. He lived with his mother. And he'd be gone for 3 or 4 months at a time. They don't know if they sent him on a hit somewhere and he came back or what. I don't know what happened. Nobody really knew what this guy did, but he always had money. His own mother didn't know what he did. And his sister, who was my ex-wife's aunt, she didn't know what he did. And it was his sister. And she had no idea what he did. His girlfriend didn't know what he did either. He had a girlfriend, very nice girl, but she said, yeah, he goes off for 3, 4 months at a time. And then he comes back and, doesn't explain where he is, where he went, what he did. So we believe, my ex-wife and I, at one time, and some of the other people that knew him thought he might have been a hitman. They sent him on a job, and then he came back. But all the guys, the women that were mob wives, I knew all their husbands who are in jail now, or they were in jail. I don't know, some of them might be out now. But I met them all when they were younger, teenagers. They thought they were hot shit. They walked around like, I can do whatever I want because my father's a big shot, in the mob, Most of them were associated with the Gotti family, Just weird, man. I knew all of them, all as teenagers. It was kind of weird when I saw the show and they said, oh, this one's in, so-and-so's in the prison and, this one's in the prison, that one's in the prison. I'm saying, I know all these guys. Well, I knew them. I didn't know them that well, but they'd show up at different things and, I knew them, and just kind of weird, And now all of a sudden that show's kind of like gone away. That whole show is gone, Big Ange, Big Ange has since died, but somewhere along the line, that show kind of like just phased away, kind of like, let's let that go for a while, guys.
Well, the reason I was asking to bring up that story there is because, as you know, last couple of weeks, I wanted to go to the cemetery to see my grandparents. And I've got probably a dozen family members buried in this cemetery, St. John. So as I'm going there, I'm finding out more and more and more because I was young when they all died. So obviously, right. Some of them I didn't even know. I've heard of the name, but I don't remember them. I was knee high to a grasshopper when they died. So as I've gone to the cemetery, it's interesting what I've learned. I mean, I discover things no matter where I go. That's always been my MO. But you mentioned the Gottis, and the Gottis were palled up with the Colombo family. I'm sorry, with the Gambino family.
Gambinos, right.
Gambinos, and I was able to find Carlo Gambino's crypt. So I'm going to roll this right now, and so take about a minute or two, and then we'll come back, and I've got some other surprises here. So keep it locked here. Don't change the station because you're going to see something that you're never going to see. You're only going to find this on the BS show number 8. So don't be late because here it is right now. So this is Carlo Gambino's crypt. I'm here at the St. John Cemetery, April 14, 2021, and I'm about to show you the crypt of the Godfather. Yes, the Godfather, Carlo Gambino. So keep it locked here. You'll find some interesting things. So in the next one, we'll show you where Carlo Gambino's crypt is in building number 7 on the 5th floor in the St. John's Cemetery in the Cloister. Well, as promised, here I am on the 5th floor of building number 7, and I'm coming up to Carlo Gambino's crypt. And I'll come in front of it. There's the door in front of it. Right above Gambino's name. As we walk up closer, hopefully you can see it, the sun here. And you'll see Carlo Gambino. Here's where he lies. Carlo Gambino has 2 crypt areas for the rest of his family, I guess. I'll show you here. Gambino name as I pan down. There's the gate to enter. The gate's locked. I can't get in it. But as you go to this one, there's some other family members here. And I'm going to try to see if I can get it on top. And you probably can't see it. Maybe you can. But that's Paul Castellana there. Who's here in this crypt. So this is a wrap. Well, there you have it. Carlo Gambino's crypt here in the St. John's Cemetery, 5th floor. And this is a wrap today on April 14th, 2021. So thank you for taking the tour with me to see Carlo Gambino's crypt. So we'll see you next time, God willing.
Very
Anyway,
interesting.
yeah, very
Paul
interesting.
Castellano.
Yeah. I found a lot of people. And the interesting thing is, when I got to that building there that day, somebody raced his vehicle past me to get to that brown room where it's located, where the other guys are located, the Gottis and the De La Croces and Mario Cuomo and all the others. They closed off that room, so I couldn't get back in that room because I found people like Charles Atlas and some other people there in that
Atlas,
room.
Bodybuilder. The bodybuilder.
Yeah, the bodybuilder. Yeah, right. His name was Siciliano was his real name, but he changed it to Charles Atlas. He was a 95-pound weakling, and somebody was beating him up, and he decided that he wasn't going to take it no more.
Right.
And he became a world-class bodybuilder.
World-class bodybuilder, yeah. Was he Mr. He was Mr. Atlas. I think that's why he changed his name to Charles Atlas.
Exactly, yeah. So that was the interesting thing there. So that's Carlo Gambino's crypt. And while I was on there, on the cemetery, I think I might as well make the best of my day. So lo and behold, I went and found Lucky Luciano, or as most people know him as Lucky Luciano.
Right.
So he wasn't too lucky on this day because I found his crypt. He was. But you tell the story about how he got his scar.
Name, right?
Can you tell it?
Right. Yeah. Well, he was trying to muscle in on Joe Profaci's territory. And Joe Profaci was fighting with, I forget who it was, but there were 2 factions that were fighting, and he was trying to play both sides. And then he was set up in a meeting with Joe Profaci, and Joe Profaci and his guys beat the hell out of him. They thought they had killed him, and Joe Profaci took a knife and actually carved an L in his cheek. And because he lived through that, they thought he was dead. They left him for dead. And he lived, so that's how he got the name Lucky Luciano. Because most guys, when they get beat up like that and that bad, they don't live through it, and he did.
I can tell you. I'm going to show you now Lucky Luciano's outside mausoleum where he's at, but not far from where he is, about 100 yards away. I kid you not. The guy who cut him like the Sicilian necktie,
right?
His crypt, I'll show you next. So this is interesting. So. Right now,
they were buried so or whatever, and his crypt so close to each other.
I could take a baseball and throw it. That's how close the 2 of them are. I mean, really, it's just amazing. So here's Lucky Luciano. I promised you this. So here it is. Hi, this is Steph. I'm here at the St. John's Cemetery, and I'm going to be showing you today the crypt of Lucky Luciano. That's right. One of the Godfathers, Lucky Luciano. He's buried here. So keep it locked here because I'll be taking a short walk, and we'll save you the view of the walk, and I'll show you Lucky Luciano's crypt here today at the St. John Cemetery. So keep it locked here. We'll be right back. Well, here I am. Just as I promised, I found it. Lucky Luciano, or Luciano's crypt, right outside on the St. John's Cemetery property. And behind me in the backdrop is the cloisters where Carlo Gambino and the others are buried, along with some of my family members. So here we are, as I promised, Lucky Luciano, one of the godfathers of New York. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour today. You got to see the godfather, one of them, Lucky Luciano here at the St. John Cemetery. And this is a wrap. So we'll come back next time and we'll show you a lot more that the cemetery has. So this is Stef signing out, and we'll see you in the next go around. Bye. So as you see it, as Lucky, but 100 yards from where I find Lucky, I find Joe Profaci. Now, Joe Profaci only stood like 5'3", and he had got in early on. He got his fingers caught in the machine, and he lost 2 of his fingers. He only had 3 fingers on one of his hands, so he became an extortionist. And what he used to do was he had this racket where he would go to all the shopkeepers and want to wash their windows. So if they wouldn't agree to him washing windows, he broke their windows. Right. So all of a sudden, you're going to give me so much money every week. If not, I'll be back every week. I'm going to break your windows. So the fact he appeared as a window cleaner, no one was the wiser, but that's how he took off in the strong arming people. But he's only 5'3", and he had 3 fingers. I mean, it's interesting how, but he never wanted to work an honest day in his life, and he found a way to do it. But his crypt is the one I'm going to show you right now. So hold on, here it is. Hi, this is Stef, and today is April 6, 2021, and I'm here in front of the St. John Cemetery again. And today I'm taking another tour, and today I'm going to show you where a number of people are buried. I'll show you Profaci, another mafia boss, and so keep it locked here because we're going in and you're going to see history made today. So this is Stef signing out. I'll see you on the other side. So here I am in the St. John Cemetery in Middle Village, Queens, and what you're seeing is a burial site for Profaci. Profaci was one of the 5 godfathers in the mafia, and he's buried here, as you could see. So keep it locked here. I'm going to be looking for it right now. So we'll be back with my hope, Lucky Luciano's crypt here today at the St. John Cemetery. So keep it locked here. There's more to show later, Gator. Well, I've got one, but I'm going to share it next week. I'm going to show next week Crazy Joe Gallo. Now, Crazy Joe Gallo, he was mobbed up with the Colombo family, was he not?
Right, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So the only family I haven't found yet, the Genovese family there. So I don't know where they're buried, or even Colombo, the one who got killed in the city with all those gang wars. So I guess I got to do a Wikipedia to figure out some of this
research
stuff
where they're buried. Yeah, maybe Genovese might be buried in the Bronx. That's where his son's businesses are. So maybe he's in the Bronx. After my dealing with him.
Well, maybe he's sleeping with the fishes.
Well, we know that. Listen, they say they know where Jimmy Hoffa is buried, but they really doesn't know. I had a neighbor when I grew up who came through the Union with Jimmy Hoffa, and his understanding was that the Kennedys killed him, and he's either part of the Verrazano or part of the Meadowlands. He said he's one of the two.
I couldn't find them, but I decided to get creative and try this instead.
Well, you know
So
what? Geraldo Rivera tried to find it. He couldn't find him twice. So, he had a whole show about it, made everybody watch, and he couldn't find him anyway. So it didn't matter.
oh no, no, what that was the Al Capone vault is what
Yeah,
he was
didn't he one
trying to
time
find.
try to find Jimmy Hoffa too? He said he knew where Jimmy Hoffa was too, I think. Yeah, he
I
couldn't
don't
find Al
know.
Capone either. He couldn't find Al Capone either. That says a lot for
Well,
Geraldo Rivera.
I can tell you a true story about Al Capone. I'm going to tell you real quick. My grandfather told me the story before he crossed over. He said that Al Capone was looking for 50 strong Sicilian men to go to Chicago with him. So my grandfather was approached by Al, and my grandfather turned him down. He said, "I need 50 strong Sicilian men who's tough as nails, and you fit the bill." My grandfather says, "Look, I got 5 or 6 kids already, and no can do." So I passed that up. But my grandfather's brother Giuseppe was a black sheep in the family, and I was told that he was mobbed up, and my grandfather wanted nothing to do with him. Matter of fact, my uncle Joe, who was in the cemetery that I went to enlist with his uncle Giuseppe. My grandfather found out about it. He says, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I'll kill you. If you think you're going to hang around with these guys." So my uncle Joe went back and he continued being a barber and worked his butt off for my aunt Betty. But my grandfather says, "None of you sons of mine, you sons of bitches, are going to be
Get
palled
in with
up."
the mob.
Yeah, the mob. So it was funny, but that was the Al Capone story. My grandfather used to tell me that he would go down to Coney Island and he'd watch Jimmy Durante play in those days. And Jimmy
Right.
Durante was a good friend of my grandfather. So when I came to the St. John Cemetery, to the cloister building, and said, "See where my grandfather's tomb was and who
Right.
was in that building," I started to wonder. So I asked my elders, I said, "By the way, can you tell me about Papa?" Well, we don't know very much because he was in the
We
country
can't
six or
tell that
seven
story.
years.
Can't
Well,
tell that story.
the funny thing is, dead men can't tell no tales. Most of all my older elder uncles are gone, and I don't. I think if one of them knew, I don't think they want to fess up to the initial story. But my grandfather told me enough about keeping his sons out of it because he left Italy because of Mussolini, and he took his sons to America because he didn't want his kids getting into the war there for the Italians,
Right.
and so they all came to America. He brought all the
Well,
kids here,
well,
but this Sindoni thing is big in the St. John Cemetery. So we'll
well,
see what we have. But next week I'll show Joe Gallo, and we'll show some other stuff.
let me
And
tell you about a little bit about my heritage. My great my great grandfather in the early 1900s um, was from Lithuania, which is now part of Russia. And somebody talked him into joining in the Russian army, which is unusual for a Jewish guy in the early 1900s. And he rose to be a captain after 25 years in the Russian army. Apparently, he was a pretty good soldier for them, apparently. And this is a story that my grandfather told my father. I never met my grandfather. That's another whole story in itself. But this guy was supposedly like 6'7", 6'8", and about 280 pounds in the early 1900s, which is a Russian bear, really. He's a big man now, let alone then. I mean, that's like a giant then, I'm sure. Um, and because he was Jewish, he would go on a train and see, early 1900s, Jewish people in Russia got hassled on the train a lot, because they didn't like him and they wanted to get rid of him, just like the Germans pretty much. Not all the Germans, but the Nazis did. And some of the Russian people are the same way, you know. So when he would see them, he'd say, "Come sit with me." And then somebody come over to him and he'd show the credentials. "Listen, I'm captain in the Russian army, leave them alone. They're with me." And they'd say, "So what?" And then he would stand up. And when the guy saw how big he was, he said, "Okay, I'm going to leave him alone." Now, this guy, I never met him. He stayed in the army till he was 50 years old. He had never married. After the age of 50, had 7 wives and 22 children. He
wow,
lived to 99 and 6 months old, outlived all his wives. My last name was never changed. There are Gitlins all over the world. We're all related somehow if we track it down. Supposedly, one of my relatives went to Argentina or Brazil, I'm not sure, and he gave away a lot of his money in his libraries and all kind of buildings named after him because he was a philanthropist. My dad went to see my best friend's parents, who that was their best friends in England. And he was at a party one time, and somebody asked him his last name. And he said, see that guy over there? He's got the same last name. And they talked, and the next day they met, and they sat down. They figured out they were like third or fourth cousins. The Gitlin name was never changed. All the Gitlins in the United States are somehow related. If we sat down, we're second, third, fourth, fifth, some kind of cousin. Because he had 22 kids who had all kind of kids, and of course now their grandkids are spread all over the country and all over the world. Todd Gitlin, I think he's in the top 100 tennis players. We have a couple of people that are prominent doctors in the Midwest. There's a lawyer group somewhere, I believe in Michigan or something. We have a girl who's a big Hollywood producer, Mimi Polk Gitlin. I'm sure she's related somehow. I met a guy here in Jersey who was an accountant. We just never got a chance to sit down. I bowled with a guy that had the last name of me, and we know we're related somehow. So the Gitlin name was never changed. But this guy, at the age of 50, had 7 wives and 22 children. I mean, I guess he's stored up all that sperm apparently for 25 years. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But
well, there was no TV in those days, huh?
yeah, that's true too. There's no TV, right? So, but I guess he met these women and married them real quick because he had 7 wives and 22 children in the last 50 years of his life, 49 and 6 months of his life. So,
well, my grandparents had about 13 or 14. Matter of fact, in the cemetery I was in, one of the children were in this grave, and their name wasn't even on the tombstone. So my grandfather had extracurricular activity going on while my grandmother was in Italy. And when she came over, she found out that he already had a family started on this side of the ocean.
I have a half cousin with the same name as me. He spells Allan with an L, one L, not two. And my uncle, my father's brother, had something to do with it. My aunt didn't. Okay. My uncle wanted to marry this lady and divorce his wife. And in the 50s, my uncle had a $500,000 house in Rockville Center. And his wife said, I'm not giving up my lifestyle, pay her off and get rid of her. I met this guy when I was I was married. I was in my second house. So I must have been in my 30s, early 40s. And he happened to have a business near my house. And I went to get glasses. And the guy said, I have a friend with the same name. And he's got like a Blockbuster thing. Blockbuster was big then with the videos and all that. And he denied it. And then the second time I met him, he admitted, yes, I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to talk about your uncle, but he's been in contact with me my whole life till he passed away, which his wife and he's got 2 daughters that are now got to be close to 80. They don't know. They never knew about this. They still don't know about this guy. And now he lives in Florida, about 5 miles from my sister in Delray. He's in Boynton Beach.
Well,
he lived in Hazlitt. He lived in Hazlitt, in Jersey, and I lived in Sayreville. And now he's 5 miles from my sister. He's in Boynton Beach, and my sister's in Delray. Figure that out. She's never met him. She's never met him. I met the guy.
Life has its peculiarities, that's for sure.
And he looks like he resembles my uncle a little bit. He does resemble my uncle a little bit.
Yeah. So now, Allan, here we are. We're quite near the end of show number 8.
Correct.
What do you want to tell our viewers, if there's any tonight, about what's going to be happening going forward?
Well, we're just going to keep telling our stories. We're going to keep telling our jokes. Everyday life is funny. Some people don't pay attention to it, and I do. And Steph does. And so we're just going to have our good time. This is 2 guys that are just bullshitting, throwing a bull. And if you like us, fine. If you don't, hey, don't listen. That's all there is to it.
Right now, all I'm saying is this. We all need to get along. We all need to have friends because we're all connected. So I'm going to close out now with a little song by War. I know you've heard this. Why Can't We Be Friends? So anybody listening, subscribe, become a friend, become one of the members of the BS show, and keep it locked here every week because you'll find it interesting. I promise you this. Not only will you have the G-Man giving you comedy, I'll be throwing some side bits in there, some things that you need to know that I find and you'll find very interesting. So tonight we want you to participate with us and tell somebody if you like this show, pass it on, because all we're looking for is for you guys to enjoy what we're doing. We're having fun. We're not getting paid. We're doing this because we're enjoying doing it. So we want more friends to show up and participate. So sign up, forward this. And Allan, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. And next week, you got more stories, I'm sure. You know, I wanted to keep it towards an hour.
Yep.
And, you know,
Yep.
time flies when you're having fun. So
Correct.
here we are. I'm going to close out with a little
All right.
tune by War.
Ciao, my brother. Ciao, my brother. We'll get together again.
All right, here we go. La 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 la. Why can't we be friends? 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 I seen you out for a long, long time. I remember you when you drank my wine. Why can't we be friends? 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 I see you walking in Chinatown. I know you walking good and I look around. Why can't we be friends? 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 I pay my money to the welfare line. I see you standing in it every time. Why can't we be friends? 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 The color of your skin don't matter to me. As long as we can live in harmony. Why can't we be friends? 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 I kinda like to be the president, so I can show you how your money is spent. Why can't we be friends? 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 Sometimes I don't speak right, but yet I know what I'm talking about. Why can't we be friends? 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 I know you're working for the CIA. They wouldn't have you in the CIA. Why can't